How's it going, everybody? It's C for Cookies or M for Melanie here, and today I'm going to be sharing with you some of my favorite books. Now, I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little bit scratchy. I just woke up and I think I'm coming down with something, so that's my excuse. So I have some of my favorite books here that I am going to be sharing with you and giving reviews on. So the first book I have here is called The Bad Begin. But this is part of a 13-part series called A Series of Unfortunate Events, as it says at the top. Now, the author is someone called Lemony Snicket, but he goes under an alias, so that's not his real name. At least that's what I've heard. I'm not 100% on that. This book is basically about these three kids, siblings, whose parents were killed in a fire. So they have the eldest daughter. She has a fortune left to her name, left by her parents. But she cannot access it until she's 18. So now that these kids are orphans, they are adopted by a relative or family member. And in each book, they're adopted by a new relative or a new family member. In the first book, this one, A Bad Beginning, they are adopted by this person. I can't remember his name. But it is an uncle, I believe. Not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've read these. But they're adopted by an uncle. And he wants the fortune that has been left to the eldest daughter's name. And in each book, he goes after the three children. He goes after the three children and tries to steal the money. But in each story, he fails. I haven't read the whole series yet. I've only read about 5 books, I think, because the chapters are quite long, and I don't usually like long chapters. I usually like to read short chapters, which I'm a hypocrite for because all of my stories have long chapters. But anyways, so yeah, I don't know how the series ends because I haven't finished the series yet, but I would definitely recommend this if you're looking for a long-term series and if you're looking for just some type of, I don't know. It's definitely a good book, though. I would rate this one probably a 3 out of 5. On to the second book. Now, this book is one of my favorites, along with all of these books, but this one is probably up there, closer to the top of the list. And it is called Pawn by Amy Carter. Now, this book I found in 2013, I believe, when one of my friends gave it to me for my birthday. Now, I wasn't expecting to actually read it because it didn't look like a book that I would like to read, but I ended up giving it a try and reading it in about grade 9, and I loved it, so it was like 2 years, a year and a half after. But I loved it, and yeah, so this book is part of a trilogy, meaning there's 3 books in it. Pawn, Captive, and Queen, which I have all 3 books, but I have not read them yet. And this book is about a teenage girl, Kitty, and she goes to take a test on her 17th birthday. This is basically a dystopian society type of setting. So she goes to take a test to determine her social ranking. And she ends up getting a 3, which is considered the below average ranking. The rankings go out from 1 to 6. And there's a 7th ranking, but the 7th ranking only goes for the Hart family, which you have to be born into. So on her 17th birthday, she takes the test, she earns a 3. She's not happy with it, but her boyfriend earns a 6. And so she gets this offer to become part of the Hart family, but she thinks it's way too good to be true. She takes the offer anyways. Little did she know that she has to undergo a transformation, and yeah, so she has to face struggles throughout the transformation and throughout the whole trilogy. I haven't read all of them, so I don't know how it ends, but I know she has to face struggles and deal with things, and I don't know how it ends, like I said, but yeah. I would rate this one like a 5 out of 5 because it is amazing. I love this book. Alright, so the next book that I have for you is called The Summoning by Kelly Armstrong. Now, this book is also part of a trilogy. So the first book is The Summoning, then The Reckoning, and then The Awakening. This book is basically about a teenage girl again, and her name is Chloe Saunders, and she has a special power to be able to see the paranormal, and so spirits and ghosts and stuff like that. And so she discovers this, I think, on her 16th birthday or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know. 15th, 16th, I don't even know if it was on her birthday. I don't know. But she discovers this gift while she's at school, and she freaks out, and she gets shipped off to, I believe it's called Lyle House. I'm not 100% sure on that. It's been a while since I've read this book. But she gets shipped off to this house for crazy kids, and which is basically how they described it in the story. And she meets some people, some that hate her, some that like her, and some that especially like her. And throughout the trilogy, which I have not read, of course, because I'm just like that, but throughout the trilogy she has to face obstacles and face numerous challenges and just a bunch of things to escape and to get back home. But I like this story because I like the character development in it, and I like the way the plot moves because it's very well paced, I believe, and I love the way it's written. Excuse me. I would give this probably a 4 out of 5 because I love this book. This book is called Maximum Ride: The Angel Experiment by James Patterson. I love this book so much. If anyone ever comes up to me and they want me to recommend them a book, I will always jump to this one because I love this book. This book is part of a 9-part series, I believe. It's the first book. This book is, well, the series is about a 6-member flock, and I call it that because they are 98% human and 2% avian, which is bird. So they have to go through challenges, and they have to go on the run and escape and deal with safety and security and false security and betrayal and just a bunch of challenges throughout the way, and the flock breaks up for a couple times, and honestly, for me, I got so invested in it, and it's so amazing. I love this series to death. I haven't finished the last book yet, but I have finished the whole series like 3 times, excluding the last book. But yeah, so I would recommend this one to literally anyone because it is such a good book. I recommended it to my friend who loves to read, and she got halfway through the series and she stopped reading. And I was like, how dare you? You don't get to read the emotional ending of the last book. I literally cried the first time I read it. I cried the second time I read it. It's amazing. I would definitely recommend this series to literally anyone that wants a good adventure-based series. I would rate this one 6 out of 5. It is amazing. So that is all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. It lets me know that you like the content. Let me know what your favorite books are in the comments below. I'd love to know some new book suggestions that I could get into. Yeah. So that is all. I will see you next week. Peace out from Cookies.